Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon and welcome to this online seminar organized by the Islamic Religious Council of Singapore, or what we call Muis here. I understand there are participants from different parts of the world. Thank you for joining us, and I pray that the COVID-19 situation, wherever you are, is improving. The pandemic certainly has impacted everyone, everywhere, and has not spared Muslim communities. The pandemic has also forced us to adapt our religious practices and priorities in as much as it has affected our lives and livelihoods. The Hajj pilgrimage, for example, has been drastically limited for 2 years now. And this important pillar of Islam is enforced with strict rules and restrictions to those allowed to perform it. Today, our mosques have to restrict the religious gatherings, but in the early days, when the pandemic raged, they had to close their doors. These are difficult adjustments. It affected our spiritual well-being. In some parts of the world, emotions fled and some rebelled and continued with religious gatherings to their detriment. Nonetheless, by and large, our scholars prevailed and Muslims worldwide remained steadfast. Our ulama quickly understood that medically sound guidance must prevail over religious imperatives in normal times. We therefore adapted our religious practices to safeguard the safety and well-being of our communities and our countries. Reluctantly, we performed our daily and Friday prayers at home with our families. We'll galvanize ourselves through charity to protect the vulnerable. Our scholars seize the digital opportunities to enhance our religious learning and spiritual well-being. In the process, they fulfilled our longings and kept us in high spirits. Such is the dynamism of Islam and the Muslim traditions. They laid out for us the principles to respond to even for the most difficult and pressing issues. Timeliness, which is so crucial in responding to a pandemic like COVID-19, was amply demonstrated. Indeed, our body of Islamic jurisprudence and knowledge is replete with precedents of how Muslim communities adapted the practices of Islam according to the nature of society shaped by place and time. As an Islamic legal maxim goes, I quote, "It cannot be denied that with a change of time, the requirements of law change," unquote. We know how Imam Shafi'i himself had reviewed some of his initial religious pronouncements, or Qawl Qadim, old opinions, which he developed while living in Iraq, to Qawl Jadid, new opinions, after migrating to Egypt at the later stage of his life. Scholars have long acknowledged the need to adapt and be agile so that their communities can thrive in various environments and as the environments themselves change. We have multiple schools of thought in the Islamic tradition, partly because of this. Our past scholars from different parts of the world and era shaped knowledge and solutions that were relevant for the pressing needs and aspirations of the Muslim communities of their time and the socio-political structure where they lived. They harnessed the intra-religious diversity ethically and intellectually for positive ends. These differences coexist today because the respect and solidarity between the great imams transcended above and beyond their differences. It is this deep sense of mutual respect that must guide the interactions between Muslim communities around the world today. We recognize that each Muslim community is distinct from one another, shaped by different histories, cultures, and circumstances. It is our shared Islamic principles, values, and tenets that ultimately bind the Muslim Ummah together. Our differences in opinions and practices should not divide us. In fact, Differences in practices do not only exist because of differences in time and place, they also exist between Muslim communities that are a majority or a minority. Today, about 1/5 of the world's Muslim population live in countries where Islam is not the religion of the majority. These Muslim minorities face unique sets of challenges and needs that can be non-existent to Muslims living in countries where they are the majority. These communities have learned the need to adapt the religious guidance and practices accordingly as a norm, but not on the basis of darurat or temporary exigencies of circumstances. For minorities, they need to forge successful and peaceful socio-religious coexistence with the majority without forsaking Islamic principles and tenets. For those who live in open, modern, and secular settings, emerging uncertainties and challenges of the contemporary world would also certainly have a distinct impact on these communities. Muslim minorities would have to grapple with emerging issues and questions on governance, social compacts, as well as science and technology. On the issue of law and governance, what guidance and framework can we offer to Muslim communities who live in non-Muslim contexts where they have to abide by the secular law of the land? How can we encourage them to thrive and contribute positively in such modern and open societies? Can Muslims strive to participate meaningfully in the governments of such countries and not violate their faith? Secondly, on the issue of social compact, globalization and pervasiveness of social media and online falsehood have a strong impact on views pertaining to race, religion, and nationality. As extremism and terrorism associated with Islam have been rapidly propagated by these new media, how do we counter such deviant doctrines which have tarnished Islam in that same space that has affected the attitudes of other communities towards Muslims? Can we harness new media to navigate social and religious diversity to enrich our common space? And thirdly, on the issue of science and technology, we are also witnessing rapid technological and scientific progress, which has raised several important issues and forced us to rethink our religious and ethical positions, especially when laws are enacted by the majority in parliament to legalize them. One example is social egg freezing, which makes it possible for women to extract, store, and fertilize her eggs later in life. How can we navigate these uncertainties so that we can safeguard our community mores, but understand what is in them that our religion allows us to seize the gains and opportunities from these advancements? Our responses and solutions to new and modern challenges will still come from our traditions. It's crucial for us to examine these issues to guide us and Muslim communities worldwide. Specifically, the body of knowledge to help minority Muslim communities to face their unique challenges is both inadequate and unorganized. This is both in theory as well as in practice. It's therefore an opportunity to be original. If we get it right, minority Muslim communities can have reference to relevant and sound principles to engender their participation with their fellow countrymen with confidence and meaning, where citizens, regardless of race or religion, work together to contribute to the common good, where Muslim religious institutions are strong and competent, as seen as an asset and not a liability of the country. We need this body of knowledge to forge Muslim communities of success among our minority communities. Like many other Muslim minority communities, the Singapore Muslim community aspires to live and succeed as contributing citizens in contemporary and plural societies. In fact, Singapore is one of the most religiously diverse countries in the world. We even had to grapple with the aftermath of racial riots during the 1960s. It's fortunate we are able to enjoy religious harmony, peace, and stability in Singapore today. Many attributed our success solely to the application of really rigorous economic strategies built upon sound fiscal policies. Indeed, we developed a competitive economy, creating as many jobs as we could for Singaporeans. Our immediate priorities then were also to develop our social infrastructure across three pillars: education, housing, and healthcare. But we were also very deliberate in shaping the type of society that we wanted Singapore to be and developing our social policies to achieve it. Deliberate effort was put into fostering social harmony and understanding, ensuring that people of different races, faiths, and backgrounds interacted with one another, having seen the devastations of the racial riots. We did this through the way we designed our housing estates, neighborhoods, hawker centers where we eat together, national service, and more, so that we could resist the formation of social enclaves that plague many societies. Policies are formulated where families are at the core of society. We let families determine what values they want their children to grow up with. For Muslims, our community of homebred asatiza has been instrumental in shaping the mores of our community. Families in turn nurture resilient and moral individuals who work hard and do their best for themselves and their families. Together as a community, members play active roles giving back in supporting those with less. Our economic strategies had to go hand in hand with our social strategies. Our Singapore Muslim community comprises 15% of the Singapore citizen population. We take pride in our religious and social values while actively contributing to the country and the global community. We have been self-reliant in addressing our religious needs, working with the government, but not reliant on their funding. We did this by getting the government to legislate so that the community can automatically contribute from their monthly salaries to fund mosque building and upgrading, to support our madrasa, and to uplift our community through education. Slowly but surely, we have built a mosque in every town with our own funds, neither needing charity from foreign countries nor our own government. Through this fund, we have also strengthened important institutions such as our full-time madrasa to groom our own credible source of local religious teachers. Muis also established the Harmony Center that Singaporeans can visit and understand the teachings of Islam while strengthening interfaith engagement between the different religious groups. As the community became more affluent, other organizations were established. One of the most significant is the Rahmatan Lil Alamin Foundation. It was founded to get the community to contribute beyond our community and to help humanitarian causes across the globe. Just last month, RLAF galvanized the community's spirit of giving to raise over $4 million towards humanitarian aid for the people of Gaza in a space of just 10 days. Other communities joined us and contributors came from all walks of life. We want to walk the talk. The Singapore Muslim community is one minority Muslim community which models itself to be a community of success. We want to make meaningful contributions to the wider society as dignified citizens. We have made the 3 C's the beacons of our community values. As a Muslim community, we embody good character, demonstrate active citizenry, and contribute as a competent workforce. You'll hear many more examples from our scholars during the seminar. As we strive to be a community of success, we know there are many minority communities who successfully have strived and navigated contemporary issues in their respective countries. There is thus much we can learn from each other to find new solutions and develop new knowledge to new challenges. To do this, we need to meet and exchange ideas to broaden our horizons, gain perspectives, and learn about our models of success, other models of success where Muslim minorities flourish in non-Muslim majority societies as successful citizens and communities. To this end, I have asked Muis to organize an international conference on communities of success, ICCOS, in the near future. In the lead up to the conference, Muis has convened this seminar. COVID-19 is the greatest challenge currently faced by humanity. I'm confident we can and have turned the pandemic into a source of resilience and strength of our communities. But we also wish to learn how other communities have dealt with the pandemic, especially how the religious scholars have guided their communities in responding to unprecedented theological and juristic issues arising from the pandemic. We are therefore very fortunate today to have esteemed ulama and scholars from Australia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Brunei, and Singapore to share their insights and perspectives, particularly on how we as Muslims can emerge more resilient, confident, and better prepared for more complex challenges in the future. More importantly, how we can harness our religious values and traditions, and what are the necessary interpretations and reinterpretations to achieve these goals. These experiences during the pandemic must be leveraged and developed further in our quest to help community and to help communities overcome future challenges and to spur our Muslim communities towards this holistic vision of success. Can also examine past issues with a fresh perspective. Especially relevant to Singapore is the context of a minority Muslim community as citizens in an open, modern, progressive, and secular country. Hence, Muis will also introduce the research program in the study of Muslim Communities of Success, or RPCS. The program will facilitate the exploration of emerging issues related to governance, social development, science and technology, and develop contextualized guidance that is rooted in the rich, multifaceted, and complex traditions of Islam for such communities. In the process, we start to build the body of knowledge, and when more complete, we hope it will initiate a reawakening of Islam as an asset for Muslims to thrive, contribute, and live confidently as minorities in their countries. The program will provide a platform for the growth and development of Singapore's own religious leaders, scholars, and thinkers to guide the local Muslim community on important contemporary issues in the long run. I invite everyone to pool our strengths, gifts, and talents and work hand in hand towards the vision of Muslim communities of success. I look forward to a rich discussion and a meaningful seminar ahead. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.